Hi, my name's Jackie Klein, and in this series we're going to be taking a close look at what's called performance art, exploring 5 different ways in which we might encounter it inside and sometimes outside the museum. We'll also be trying to answer questions like, why are these people dancing in a museum? Why am I allowed to touch this? And is this really art? So far in this series, we've looked at artists who've made art using movement and bodies. But did you know that objects can also be part of performance art? We're used to thinking of art as something static that we look at, but sometimes artists actually do want you to touch what they make. Here's South Korean artist Haegu Yang speaking about a performance she staged here at Tate in 2012.
I started to conceive this work called a dress vehicle. They're invited to manipulate the light. It's a kind of anonymous interaction maybe between the performer and the audience.
Once again, if we time travel back to the 1960s, we find artists thinking about how art could begin to involve us, the audience. Kinetic and op artists, like Victor Vasarely and Jesus Rafael Soto, considered the viewer to be an active participant in their work, which could only be truly completed once someone was moving around in front of their creations. Here's a work by Mary Martin. It's made up of mirrors positioned at different angles, so it appears different every time you walk around it, and depending on where in the room it's positioned. How the viewer interacts with an artwork is something that lots of artists think about today. Here's the Spanish artist Cristina Iglesias, who invites the viewer to walk through her sculptures.
The thing is that I do work on perception, on constructing different ways to perceive. From the very beginning, I'm always thinking in the viewer, how you will encounter it.
Other artists, like Rashida Wren, encourage the audience to get even more involved with their works.
I want you to dismantle it and make your own work out of it. Let it be transformed into many others. They explode like a big bang.
Over the years, lots of artists have thought about different ways to create objects that need a kind of activation. In the 1970s, Nicola L. created a red coat designed to be worn collectively by a group of people. And here's Argentinian artist Amalia Pica, who asked the public to hold up a piece of paper bunting.
These work in which two people who have never met before hold a string of bunting for hours at a time. What they have to do is not allow it to touch the floor. So there's a certain distance in which they need to stand from one another, which is a distance that it's too far for them to establish a conversation. But at the same time, they're totally connected by this thing they're both doing.
This kind of interaction can allow an artist to directly engage their audience in an active way, opening up the possibilities of art. One final example is Felix Gonzalez Torres, whose work invites the audience to take something away from the gallery, in this case, a piece of paper. Through his interactive works, he creates a literal passing on of responsibility for the artwork from the artist to the audience. In the next episode, we're going to be asking whether performance art needs to be experienced live.